Welcome back to Discovering Truth. This is going to be a part 3 to my how to save money saving tips videos. And these are all things I've done. It's not financial advice. This is just suggestions. I used to be under the poverty level, and I'm doing better now. So these are my suggestions of how to survive while you're under the poverty level. And there might be more than these. Please share them with me so that I can continue using them. Because even though I'm not under the poverty level anymore, I still use these tips to. I mean, why am I going to go spend more money? That doesn't make any sense to me. So where I left off was cheap housing. Sometimes it'll be in a neighborhood you don't really care for, but you got to do what you got to do. So for me, I pay $900 a month where I'm at. I love it. Do I love the place? No, I would love a better place, but it's a place to stay. I've got shelter, I've got heat, I've got electricity. So, but to me, I'd rather do this and stay here and save the money so that I can go spend money on my granddaughters or take my kids out to dinner or to go have fun with them. I'd rather save the money here where I live than have a really nice place and not have the money for that. So, like I was saying in the other video, I've got friends and family that pay twice what I'm paying. Why? Unless you have the means, you really should stay at a low housing until then. Some of the recommendations I've heard is 25% of what you make. Take what you make, take 25%, and that's as much as you should be spending on housing. I spend less than that. All right. Oh, and speaking of housing, get some roommates. If you've got extra bedrooms, get a roommate. That's a great way to save money and actually make a little, maybe not make money, but it'll cut the cost of your housing. So I've had roommates. Do I like having roommates? I do not. Was it necessary at some points? Yes. Did it help out? It did help out. And you're going to learn some great communication skills. You're going to learn how to deal with other people, which is never fun, but it's necessary, right? One of the other things with housing for like your heat and your electricity, shut off lights. It's ridiculous the number of people I know that are struggling and they keep all the lights on in their house, or they keep the outside light on all the time. It doesn't need to be on during the day. At night, yes, of course, leave it on all night long for safety. But during the day, it doesn't need to be on. I have no house lights on in my house at this moment. I'm saving money. Same thing with the heat. If nobody's home, well, here's what I do, okay? I turn the heat up to 75 degrees. Is it a little warm? Yes. And then I turn it off. And I wait for it to get all the way down to 65. Is it a little cold? Yes. But I wait to get to 65 and then I'll turn it back on. And I'll turn it back up to 75 and wait for it to get up there. It doesn't take that long to get back up to 75, and then I turn it off again. Now, I do this throughout the day. I only got to do it a couple times. It's amazing how much heat your home will hold. You don't have to have that thing going every single 20 minutes because it goes down 1 degree. Most people will set it between 70 and 72. As soon as if you set it at 70 and it gets 69, it turns on. And then it'll be there for a minute, it gets 69, turns back on. Your furnace is turning on and off all day long. It doesn't need to. Make yourself a little uncomfortable at 75 and a little uncomfortable at 65 and save yourself a ton of money. The other thing I do is if I leave the house and there's nobody in the house, I turn the heat all the way off. Mine will only go as low as 45 degrees, which in the winter is good so your pipes don't freeze, things like that. But I turn it down to 45. And the reason for that is, why am I going to heat a house that nobody's in? I'm going to have that thing going on and off all day long when I'm not home? To me, that doesn't make any sense. Now, do I come home to a cold house? Yes, it's a little chilly when I come home. But it doesn't take that long to finally get warm. I come home and say it got down to 50 in here. I'll turn it back on. I'll put it up to 75. Within half hour, it's in its 60s. And it's, comfortable again. And then eventually it gets 75 and I turn it down off till 65. So these, again, take what you want to take. Don't do what you don't want to do. But these are ways that I've used to save money. All right. what I do, so I own a lawn care company in the summer, and now I'm doing this, making videos and stuff. But I also do scrap metal, and scrap metal again does not pay very well. But there's ways that, and I'm not telling you to go out and become a scrapper, but there's things that you can do that scrappers make money off of. So when your washer and dryer dies, you put it at the end of the road, and some scrapper guy comes by and gets it. It's 10 to 20 bucks a piece, depending on how much they're paying for the steel and stuff. Why don't you just go drop it off at the scrap place? Make that 10 to 20 bucks. It's not a lot, but it's 10 to $20. The other thing is when I'm doing scrapping, people throw out lamps all the time, and it's amazing how many of them still have the light bulbs in it. Yeah, the lamp quit working. It's no good anymore. I get that. But it doesn't mean the light bulbs aren't. Do you know how many? I have a stack of light bulbs in my house because I pick up lamps all the time for scrapping, but the light bulbs are good. I don't know why people are throwing away light bulbs with the lamps. I've got a ton of light bulbs. You don't have to buy light bulbs. If you're going down your road and it's garbage day and someone throw out a lamp, stop. See if the light bulbs are in it. Grab them. It's the little tiny things. That's all I'm trying to make clear. It's about finding the little tiny things that if I don't have to spend money on that, then that's another, penny saved is penny earned. A light bulb saved is a light bulb earned. So if I didn't have to spend the money on the light bulb, then I can take that money and put it towards something else. Okay? Maybe it's the oil change. Maybe it's fixing the brakes. Maybe it's going out to spend time with my friends and family. All I'm trying to show is there's ways to make money. There's ways to save money. And I would implement those until you don't have to anymore. So let me switch now to the offense side and talk about ways of making money. The best way to make money is to be a business owner. Okay? Why are you working for somebody else doing the thing that's making your boss rich? If you can do it for yourself, you should look into doing that. Now, there's things you got to learn. There's things you need to know, of course. But you can learn those things. I worked for my brother for the lawn care for, 2011 until 2019. I learned the trade. I learned the skill. There was nothing more I could learn that would make me better at that job. But my brother's getting half the money. Now, he had made me partner, and I appreciate him doing that. But he was still getting half the money, and I was doing all the work. We discussed it and came up with terms, and I bought the company from him. Now I'm making twice as much. I'm out of the poverty level now. And I'm doing the same amount of work. Okay? The only difference is I own it rather than being an employee. Look into being an owner of a business. There are other businesses that you can do that you can do on the side. So as an example, there's lots of multi-level marketing or direct marketing businesses. They're not pyramids. They're actually very good. You just need to find a product you believe in. There's tons of them out there. Look into multi-level marketing. There's lots of ways to make money on the side. Okay. And then there's investments. So I found an investment that ended up paying off, or it is paying off pretty well. Still working. But there's things that you can invest in that are small and could end up eventually becoming big. As an example, I invested in silver. So silver there was never anything big about it. But when you look at all the things that silver is used for, it's in your flat screen TVs, your solar panels, it's used in your cell phones, your iPhones and stuff. When you see all the stuff that it's used for and you're like, well, why is the price so low? And then I started doing some investigation. I started learning about the manipulation of silver, how they short sale it in the stock market in order to keep the price low. And I seen you've heard of bubbles before, right? You had the housing bubble that burst. You had the tech bubble that burst. Well, if there's bubbles in reverse. And so for me, silver was a bubble in reverse. They were keeping the price low. Well, you can't do that forever. You can't manipulate things forever. And I knew there would be a time where that would burst. Well, it did. And so now the silver I bought back at $25 and $30 is worth over $100 now. It was something that was small. I could buy it in small increments. I remember at one point I was buying one coin a week, $25 a week. That's all I could afford. And eventually now, that $25 is worth $100. I've quadrupled my money because of that. There's other things you can do. You can even buy in smaller. You don't have to buy a full ounce a week. I know a person that bought a 10th ounce of gold. It's the size of a dime. It's not worth $500. There's cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm not big on cryptocurrencies. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know you can buy them for a fraction of a penny. Bitcoin started out at a fraction of a penny, and now it's worth, I don't even know, tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. I haven't even looked. So all I'm saying is there's investments you can do where you can buy small and gain big over time. All right, with that, I'm going to end all of this. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment for the show, and be blessed. Have a blessed day. Bye.